I will say this though. I did not have two versions of Jim Carrey playing two different characters dancing to a Q-Tip song that I've only seen in car commercials in a movie on my bingo card this year. I did not have that. Not at all. What's going on, people? What's really good? It's your boy Marvlat, and this is the Nerds in the Hood. Folks, you already know about a shirt. You already know what's going down. You already know I gotta talk about it. I had me quite a Sonic-filled weekend because I played this game right here. Let me get it out real quick. You can see that there. I played this game. This game is fire. One of the best games of the year. And I hope everybody got to see that. I hope everybody, yeah. Anyway, and I had to play that because I wanted to get myself ready for the movie Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, let's get right to the nitty gritty of this. This movie really exceeded expectations. I was already hyped because I knew that Shadow was about to come through. I was already hyped because I saw that Jim Carrey was coming back. And I was hyped because, Sonic the Hedgehog and this movie has been doing work for the past several years. And let's get this off the ground right now before anything. This is the best video game movie franchise since Resident Evil. And that is saying a lot. Let's think about this now. Street Fighter had a couple movies. Mortal Kombat had a couple movies. And Resident Evil had a couple movies. A few others had a couple movies, but I don't really want to list them. But Resident Evil had the most movies. I think they had like 7 plus one reboot. So they had a lot of movies and they were the most successful by default. And now you're getting this trilogy where all 3 movies are actually good. That's the difference. With Resident Evil, all 7 of their movies weren't great. Like the first one was cool. And to me, I think maybe it was like the 4th one or the 6th one it was like 1 or 2 other movies was okay. But the first one was like the defining one. And after that, kind of just like went on a crazy wave. But this is the first time where 3 movies back to back to back are good. From Sonic by himself with just fighting Eggman, to Sonic and Tails fighting Knuckles, to now Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles fighting Shadow. And what made this movie fire is that I love when a movie doesn't have to do frame by frame, shot for shot. But I love it when they do take from the source material and at least stay as faithful as they could, or they honor it really well. And this is what that did. It took the events of Sonic Adventure 2, it took some of the events of like other things like Sonic X and stuff, and it really honored it and stayed as faithful as it could without going too crazy. Now, obviously, because it's a movie and they're not telling it as fully as the video games do, they're gonna, go a little left and a little right. But what was cool about it is that it still made you remember the times you played Sonic Adventure 2, whether you played it on the Dreamcast or you played it on, I think, PlayStation 2 or your Nintendo GameCube, whatever the case may be. It made you remember those times. They made sure there was a scene where the Chows were in there. They made sure we got some more cameos on the way for Sonic the Hedgehog 4, which unfortunately is not going to come out till, I believe they said 2027, which sucks. But they made sure it was faithful. If you didn't see the movie by now, 1, you're bugging. Stop watching this video, go see the movie, come back, and let's talk about it some more. But 2, you already, at this point, if you did what I just said, or you already did it, you already know this movie is basically just about Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, making sure that they became who they are. They have a hot team now, and now they fight in Shadow. Shadow, just like in the game, was released from his containment pod, came out, started wilding. You find out who it was that did it. It was Dr. Robotnik's grandfather. He getting revenge. So both of them was trying to crash out, and here we are. we got what we wanted out of this. We got Super Sonic again, but we got Silver Shadow. Should we call him Silver Shadow? I'll just say Super Shadow. We got the Super Saiyan versions of them. They had an epic fight around the world, which to me was fire. I want to see Super Knuckles and Super Tails, but I know we got to wait a little bit for that, and that's okay. There is 2 post-credit scenes, which I will not spoil, but you know what? I got to do it. Forget it. I have to do it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But what I did like about the movie was, for one, we kind of steered a lot away from what we were doing in the first couple of movies, which was focusing more on the side characters, giving them more time to be funny and wacky, and we ain't coming for that. In the first one, it was understandable because you had to understand that Sonic needed a place to live, and then eventually Tails and Knuckles were going to do the same. And in the second one, it kind of helped because it gave us the spin-off show Knuckles, and it made us fall in love with Wade Whipple. It really did. But in the third one, we didn't need that. We got a Wade Whipple sighting, which I wanted them to have because he was a pivotal part of the Knuckles show. But I also wanted to make sure that we weren't going to give like 10 to 15 minutes to Wade Whipple. We weren't going to give 10 or 15 minutes to Tom Wachowski and his wife. We did have a scene where Tom and his wife disguised themselves as Tom's sister-in-law and his brother-in-law. And I was like, I didn't need that. But would I have liked more minutes of his sister-in-law? Yeah, because she was funny in the first 2. Natasha Rothwell is funny when she's playing other characters, and she's been funny in the Sonic series ever since the first one. So would I have loved for that? Yeah, I would have. But would I also have wanted more than 15 minutes of that? No. And that's not to say that those characters are bad. It's just to say that like they take away from what we really came to see. We came to see Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and now Shadow. We came to see these guys. So when we watch a movie and you're like, oh, you're giving me like a Tom Wazowski, just like 20 minutes of Tom, I don't want that. I don't need that. Don't care for that. No. If he's the inspirational tool for Sonic to be a better person, cool. Let that be that. Let him get his 5-minute little monologue speech in there. Talk to Sonic for 5 minutes, and then Sonic's like, oh, word, right. I gotta start making better choices in my life. I'm wilding. Cool. But if you give us a scene where he's like, oh yeah, I've been making puppets and I've been bored because we don't do any work, and then he goes in and gets freaking washed by Shadow in one scene. Yeah, I didn't need that. Didn't need that at all. But him getting washed by Shadow made sense because it allowed Sonic to go Super Saiyan. Yes, I'm saying Super Saiyan. It allowed him to go off, and we get that epic fight. So it's a balance, and it was more balanced in this movie. We got less of the side characters and more of Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, and Tails. That is what we needed. And the Robotniks. Robotniks is the one side character that makes the most sense because they are the central antagonists. They are the villains. That is fine. Speaking of Robotniks, I gotta say, Mr. Carrey, if you ever find your way to watching this video, ever, your boy Marv Lahair and Nerds in the Hood has to give you your flowers, and as many flowers as I can give and can afford to give you, because you, sir, are a legend. I did not have you playing yourself, or playing 2 different versions of Robotnik, dancing together, having a literal dance scene to a Q-Tip song, which I still don't know which song that is, but I know that I've seen it a million times in different car commercials. And I didn't expect you doing that in the movie. That was not on my bingo card for 2024. But I'm glad it happened. Folks, there is a whole scene where Jim Carrey, he plays Dr. Robotnik, who he played in the first 2 movies, and he's playing his grandfather Robotnik in this movie, right? And his grandfather is basically luring him and manipulating him to being like, hey, listen, I'm the only family you got, so you got to work with me. Let's take over the world together. Although Robotnik realizes that his grandfather's plan is to destroy the whole world. Robotnik's plan is just like, hey, I just want to take it over. I'm not trying to destroy everybody. I need people to enslave. So they eventually have a falling out. and Robotnik decides to work against him rather than work for his grandfather. But before that, they go and infiltrate this. They go and infiltrate. I believe it was it gun headquarters? I think it was gun headquarters. Anyway, they go in there and they realize there's a laser system they have to get through. And when they get through it, then they can go to the next part and take over where they need to take over. However, it's a laser system. Get touched once, it's a wrap. So Robotnik made 2 suits that allowed for the lasers to just basically kind of just bounce off of them and just not even hit them at all. And because of that, instead of walking through the lasers, remember, this is a comedy, folks, they decided to have a dance sequence on the way there. It reminded me of Ocean's 12 with the Fox dude, and he was dancing because he was like, this is how I get through the lasers. But the difference is they were being stupid about it, and I loved every minute of it. It made me laugh so much, from him doing a running man to him carrying himself and doing a spin, and to him spinning himself around his waist. It was all classic Jim Carrey behavior that we've seen if you've watched him from his 90s works, even his 2000s works. But this is the Jim Carrey I grew up watching, from The Mask to Ace Ventura, Cable Guy. This is the Jim Carrey that I love. And to see you still doing it in 2024, 2025, my man, you're a legend. And this movie had legends, you know what I mean? Like, it had him, it had Keanu Reeves. Idris Elba's an up-and-coming legend. James Marsden, you may not believe this man is a legend too. Come on, man. He was Cyclops. He was a legend. And then he had a scene-stealing casting as himself in Jury Duty. And Tika Sumpter, come on, Gossip Girl. Like, they got legends in here, you know what I mean? Shamal Moore, it was Soul Train host. Y'all black people know that. But all those legends aside, and again, I'd be remiss if I'm saying this, good job by Keanu Reeves playing Shadow. He played, he didn't even have to really change his voice. He just had to read. It sounded like John Wick, honestly. So he didn't really have to do much, you know what I mean? And it's not to knock him. It's just to say, like, that's all he had to do was just be like, you're a colorful bunch. That's it. He just had to read the script. Like, yo, just read this, bro. Don't do nothing else but read, and we'll tell you when to stop. But these legends is what made this movie what it is, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I'm glad that we have 3 versions of these that are all good. That is, for me, that is a beautiful feeling. Let me get my ratings on real quick, and then I will take us home. So, as usual, Nerds in the Hood rating system is, we have, remember, I'm in a small space right now, so, bear with me. We have valid, which means the movie is great. We have it's alright, which means it's alright. And then we have nah, this ain't it, which means it's not that good. It's pretty bad. And of course, everything you just heard me saying, this movie is valid. This movie is valid. For a video game movie, we've been through the mud in terms of just getting a video game movie to come to theaters and be good. Just getting one. So to have 3 that are all good, oh my gosh. And it was one of the top movies until Christmas hit and Nefertarasu and Mufasa stole the show. But to have 3 movies that are just quality-wise good movies, that says so much. It says so much. It speaks so much volumes. And I'm glad that we were able to receive that in this year of 2025. When Mario makes a sequel, I'm sure we're going to get that same type of love. When if they do another Mortal Kombat and hopefully it's good, then cool. And if Street Fighter finds its way back into the franchises, cool. Resident Evil seemed like with that reboot, it was trying for something, but we were wrong. And any other movie franchises that do come out, hopefully they follow the blueprint of what Sonic is doing. Sonic found a way with good casting, good voice acting, and a reasonable story, and just gave us what we want. Hell, they threw Kristen Ritter in there, another legend, as you've seen in many shows in the past, and she was able to deliver, and she didn't even have strong, lots of screen time. But again, that's what I liked about it. They balanced the side characters where you still understood why they were there, and they were still as important, but you didn't need to see them for the whole 2 hours. You just needed to see enough of them that you knew why. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that. She was new to the movie, and she came in, and I still understood why she was where she was at. That's all I can ask for. I will say this, though. What was the guy's name? The General, I think it was General Walter. Yo, there was a scene where they were in the Child Garden, and the General pulled up. I just want to make sure I got his name right. But the General pulled up and was like, Commander Walters. Yeah, I was right. So the General pulled up, Commander pulled up and was like, yo, Sonic, I gotta talk to you about why Shadow is wilding like this and yada, yada, yada. And he explained everything so that way we, the viewers, are understanding. Next thing you know, Eggman's drones, unbeknownst to even Eggman, pulled up and shot at Sonic and his gang, right? Sonic pushes Commander Walters out the way. No drone hit him. Not even a blast hit him. The explosion, right? He just pushed Commander Walters out the way. Next thing you know, Commander Walters is on the floor. It's like a little bit of rubble above him, whatever, right? And he passes away. It's like, wait, when did you get hurt, bro? That part kind of like concerned me a little. I didn't want to be that guy, but that part concerned me a little. But I can get over it because the movie is good. They can't all be winners, okay? There's some scenes you kind of just gotta let slide, but that almost had me for 1 second. And I also gotta shout out one more dude. I gotta make sure I got his name. Here we go, Cristo Fernandez. Yo, you get in the bag this year, my boy. I just saw you in Venom 3, right? You was on some other commercial doing soccer, and you wasn't even playing the Ted Lasso character. And now I see you in Sonic 3, and just like Robotnik, you played 2 versions of a different character. You played a dude and a twin brother. You played Pablo and Juan on a telenovela that Robotnik and Shadow was watching, which was also very pointless, but whatever. At the same time, you played 2 different characters, just like Jim Carrey did. So let's not count you out. You know what I'm saying? Because your greatness was there, my boy. You did your thing. You are getting the bag. You in MCU, you in non-MCU, you in Sonic, you in these franchises. And you're going to find your way back to Ted Lasso whenever that season 4 drop. So keep getting the bag. I see you. If nobody else see you, I see you. But with that being said, the movie was valid. If you haven't seen it yet, what are you waiting for? Go see it. If you're going to wait for Paramount Plus, then cool. But if not, go see this movie. Take the family. Take yourself. It's a valid flick. Video game movies, another win for just video game movies as a whole. And we need to keep this streak going because these past few years have been pretty decent to us in terms of video game movies, video game TV shows. You know, we're getting more wins than losses. That's what I'm trying to say. We're getting more wins than losses. And Sonic, to start the half a year, basically, more like half a year, but to start earlier in the year with the Knuckles TV show doing good and to end the year with the movie doing good, oh my gosh. That's all a brother could say is just let's get these W's and keep getting these W's. And before I forget, yes, they made sure to use Live and Learn in there. Live and Learn! Yes, I can't sing, but they made sure to use Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure 2, one of the biggest songs in there. I also would have accepted Follow Me or Pumpkin Hill Zone Rap. I would have accepted that. A few others, but whatever. And post-credit scene, we do get confirmation that in the next movie, we will get Amy Rose and Metal Sonic. At this point, it shouldn't have came as a surprise to anybody. Like, you already introduced Knuckles, Shadow, Tails. At this point, who else you expecting? Big the Cat? Even though I heard he was supposed to be in Sonic 2, but whatever, that didn't happen. Anyway, the next 2 biggest characters in that boat is supposed to be these 2. Then everybody else will follow from like Blaze, Silver, or Big, or the alligator dude, Bee, stuff like that. But for now, the 2 other characters that people care about are now showing up. We did not get a voice for Amy Rose, so we will be waiting to see who will voice her. I assume it's going to be somebody as big as Keanu Reeves and Idris Elba. My vote, honestly, I could see it being Scarlett Johansson, But it could be somebody else too. Maybe Anne Hathaway, somebody even bigger than that. Who knows? I don't know. Metal Sonic also, we don't know who's going to voice him, but we can assume it's definitely going to be somebody that's willing to just talk a lot, not a lot. So, yeah, we know that. We know Shadow, if you've seen the movie, Shadow sacrificed himself to save the world, and he is not dead. So, these things we know. We're getting good post-credit scenes also from these movies, so I'm cool with that. And the surprises keep getting better and better. Because I was figuring Metal Sonic, but I also was not figuring Amy Rose. And she came out on kind of like Metal Sonic came out on kind of like a Terminator vibe. So she almost came out like a John Connor vibe. So Sonic the 4 is already looking Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is already looking promising without any other details being presented. So I am waiting, but I need y'all to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and let's talk about it in the comments. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on. I'll write back, and we can keep talking about it, y'all. Follow us on all social media. Linktree is in the description below. Until next time, I am off this, people. Nerds in the Hood. We are out of here. I'm going to go play me some more of this Sonic and Shadow Generations. Peace till then. Live and learn.